Hey guys, welcome to my channel. This is my first video for 2022, so let me start off by sending positive wishes to you and your loved ones this year. Today I'm sharing a quick tutorial on how I rebalance my nails, as well as this fun leopard print design. So let's get into it. So first and foremost, I'm going to be removing my old design using my 5-in-1 carbide bit on a medium speed, and this is just to get rid of that existing gel polish, and I'm just going to be debulking a little bit of the old apex on all of my nails. I start my nail prep by pushing back my cuticles or releasing my cuticles from on my nail plate with a cuticle pusher. And then I'm going to go in with my cuticle bit and I'm going to work my way around the cuticle area. I start from the midpoint and I go in one direction with my electric file in the forward direction. And then I flip the direction of my electric file to reverse and I start from the middle and go in the opposite direction. This helps to ensure that all that extra buildup around the cuticle area and the side walls are removed properly before applying acrylic. I carefully use my cuticle nipper to remove that excess skin hanging around my cuticle area and my side walls so that my acrylic application in my cuticle area will be as tight and as neat and clean as possible. I'm now going in with a sandband. It's a fine grit sandband and I'm going in on a slow speed on my e-file. And I'm just using this to remove the shine from my natural nail plate, which helps the acrylic to fuse to your natural nail, which would also prevent lifting. I also lightly go over my enhancements with this sandband so that when I am refilling the nail, the application would be as smooth and as clean as possible. I clean off all that extra oils and dust from on my nails with a spritz of some isopropyl alcohol and a scrub brush, and this just ensures that the nails are clean and dry for your application of acrylic. I'm using a number 8 Kolinsky brush. It's an oval brush and I'm going in with a medium-sized bead and I am tucking that into my cuticle area and patting it into the natural nail, and then I'm going to begin blending out the outside of that bead all the way down to my free edge to ensure that my application is smooth and I don't have any lumps or bumps or humps. In between your application, remember to keep your brush clean by wiping it off on your towelette. This will prevent that buildup of acrylic in your bristles, which would not only ruin your brush, but it would make your application process very frustrating. When refilling my nails, I tend to go in with tiny beads of acrylic along the side walls where necessary to prevent those stress cracks. And I also use tiny little pearls to fill in any areas around the cuticle area or side wall that I may have omitted with my first bead. I like to call these little filler beads. Keep the tip of your brush clean and sharp by continually wiping that brush on your towelette with some acrylic liquid, and this helps you to go around your cuticle area and side walls with the tip of the brush to carve out that acrylic, as I often tell my students, and seal the acrylic into the natural nail to make sure that the acrylic is not touching the skin and the side walls and the cuticle area, and you have a nice little hairline of space all the way around. I'm now going in with my 100 grit block file, and the reason why I would always recommend using a block file for shaping is because the shape helps us to have more control over the file when we're shaping. The precision when filing is so much more on point as you have more control over the file. That plate of plastic in between the file keeps the file from bending and wobbling while you're filing. It cuts down that filing time significantly. So I'm going to go around the side walls on my free edge, and I am just lightly returning the slightly pointy curve on my shape. This is an almond shape. So just imagine an almond nut. It's not quite round and it's not quite stiletto and pointy. It's a little more rounded than a stiletto and a little more tapered than an oval. I'm now returning with my 5-in-1 carbide bit, which I am going to gently use to walk around my cuticle area and side walls just to further seal in that acrylic, so that we have no lifting in those areas, as well as it makes for a cleaner, seamless look when your acrylic is growing out. It looks as though the acrylic is growing out from your natural nail. And I'm just going to lightly go over the surface of my nail with this bit as well to remove any little ridges that may be there. Going in now with my fine sandband, and I am lightly carrying this around my cuticle area and side walls as well, and over the surface of my nail to remove any file or scuff marks that my previous bit would have left on my nail in preparation for a smooth, clean gel polish application. Now I'm going in with my super fine buffing block over the surface of the nail, and this is to lightly remove any additional file lines in the surface of the nail. So after washing and scrubbing my nails, I just make sure that I have my cleanup brush. This is actually a universal gel brush. I have it on standby with some alcohol, and this is just to clean up the side walls or around the cuticle area when I'm applying my gel polish. And I'm now going in with 2 coats of this beautiful shea nude. It's called Sweet Nothings. It's more of like a neutral peachy tone, and I'm applying that to all of my fingers except my middle finger, which I would be coming in afterward to do the actual leopard or cheetah nail art design. I'm curing each coat of my gel polish under my LED lamp for 60 seconds as per usual. Now for the nail art, I am using my Micro Detail number 2 brush, and I am using the lightest shade in my selection of colors for today's art. and I am creating a tip around my free edge, just following the shape of the nail as a guide, and I'm using the tip of the brush to flick out that product on the side wall to keep it nice and thin in that area. I'm going to do this on all of the 4 nails, all nails except my middle finger, and I'm going to cure this under my LED lamp for 60 seconds. For this next step in the nail art process, I will be using my Micro Detail number 1 brush, which is a significantly smaller brush. And I'm using the darkest shade in my selection. It's a dark brown. And I'm mixing that with the previous shade to create the spots on my print. And I am just going to go in on the tip of the nail and randomly place those spots, leaving some spaces in between so that I can come in and fill up those spaces with the black markings on the design. I'm now going to be going in with my Chrome Emboss gel in black. As you can see, it's very well loved. It's actually just a no wipe black gel paint. It's very pigmented, and I'll be using this to create 2 to 3 loose spots overlapping each of the previous brown spots. And I will also use it to fill in any little spaces in the tip with some standalone black spots to pull the pattern together. Now, if you notice, I am very fluid with the placement of my spots, which fosters for a very organic pattern. I think the key to these kinds of animal prints is to just not overthink it and basically just fill in the little spaces with smaller or larger spots depending on the size of the gap. Once I'm satisfied with the print and I have cured it, I'm going to go in with 1 coat of my No Wipe Velvet Matte Top Coat to seal in that design, and I'm going to cure this for 60 seconds under my LED lamp. I just opted to get these 4 nails out of the way so that I can now focus my attention on the leopard or cheetah design on the middle finger. So on my middle finger, I went ahead and applied one very thin coat of my lightest shade, and I cured it under my LED lamp. And this is just to act as a base for my design. Now, anytime I'm doing animal faces, or basically faces, I start off by sketching out with the gel polish the basic shapes of the features of the face, so the eyes, the nose, and the mouth. Now I've used a selection of 3 to 4 shades of brown, a lighter shade, a darker shade, and 2 mid-tone values. And I'm also using white for some highlights. And I started off by firstly placing the white, which I diluted with a bit of no wipe top coat to help move the product along. And I use that above the eyes, above the nose, and around the mouth area. And I'm now going in with the mid-tone value and the darkest value, and I'm placing those in the areas of contour. So that would be around the eye socket, some areas around the sides of the nose, and the middle of the nose. And I'm gonna cure this once I'm satisfied with the blend, to come in and add further layers of contour and highlight until I am satisfied. I always use a reference photo when I am doing nail art like this to help me to be able to analyze and replicate value placement. So your darker shades, your lighter shades, your contours, and your highlights. So the placement as well as the intensity, because there may be some shadowing in certain areas, like under the eyes or under the nose bridge, depending on the position of the face. And these little details help to bring the character to life. Now, what I don't do is I don't try to replicate the exact reference photo, because oftentimes in the past this has frustrated me tremendously and I end up just giving up on it. But rather what I do is just to focus on transposing the values of light and dark shades over onto the design, and then I go in and I work on my details afterwards. So as you can see, I'm just going in with the black, and I have mixed that with a little bit of the orange that I used on the nose to basically just kind of tone down the black, or maybe tone down the orange, I should say, and create little shadows around the border of the nose. And then I'm going to go in with the black and begin making those significant markings around the nose, within the mouth area. And I switch between my highlight and contour. So every time I contour, I see if the photo has lighter areas that I may have covered up with the contours, and I just go back in and highlight those areas. To save on time, I flash cure the layers of my shading for 10 seconds under my LED lamp, and once I'm satisfied, I go ahead and I give the nail a full cure for 60 seconds to harden off all of those layers of shading. I'm using my black gel polish to very loosely paint in those iconic spots, and ever so often I would glance over at my reference photo just to ensure that I am mimicking the general direction of the placement of those spots. Once I cure these spots, I spend a little time creating some fray-like brush strokes, alternating between my black and my white gel polish, and I do the same for the whiskers. I then go and I seal the artwork with my no wipe top coat, and I cure this for 60 seconds under my LED lamp. That brings us to the end of today's video, and here is the completed design. If you've enjoyed watching this video as much as I've enjoyed creating it for you, give this video a big thumbs up, sound off in the comment section below letting me know what you thought, and if you're not already subscribed, don't forget to subscribe to my channel on your way out, or you can check out some of my other videos. Keep safe guys, bye!